I want to get started on time today because I have a wonderful guided visualization that I want to walk everyone through. We truly are in a time of rapid expansion, and those of us who are more consciously aware of that and able to employ the tools to help us move through that more expediently as well as more smoothly actually will be called upon by those who are not yet aware of this expansion that we're going through. And it's going to continue to, the frequencies are going to continue to increase here on the planet, actually in our whole universe, but as it, from a practical perspective, here on the planet. And it is intended, this is the time, as I've said over and over, this is the time that has been prophesied. We are in it, we are experiencing it, and we chose to come here at this time to experience this. And those who are drawn to calls and work like this actually are most likely here to, is your phone talking? Oh, most likely here to help facilitate the incoming of these energies and the transformation that they are here to cause on the planet, which really is just an up-leveling of our consciousness, an expansion of our consciousness, which is a really cool thing. But the road is as we've already been experiencing, is a little bit rocky, and it could even get more rocky. So, like I said, those who are aware of it and have the tools to be able to raise our own consciousness will be called upon by others who don't have a clue what's going on yet, but will soon be finding out. So we want to be prepared and in a good place ourselves. So that's really why I've been called to do these calls. Is it became very apparent to me, my what do you call it, purpose. Sorry, my consciousness is starting to expand already. My purpose here on this planet, in exact words, to transform lives by awakening consciousness. And that was over 20 years ago. So I've been doing that through my profession, calling it coaching, guiding people, but all the while activating people and meeting them exactly where they are to give them just as much spiritual information as they can hold on to at wherever level they are, and to just raise them up from a conscious perspective. So I have been doing that as a job, but now it's moving so quickly and so rapidly that I am just being asked to just put it out there. So when I put these out here, whomever is called to be in person on these programs, or whomever is called to listen to these recordings afterwards, it's because you are here to be on board with this consciousness expansion. So, wow, I don't even know what I just said, but I hope it was good. I am hearing a little bit of feedback somewhere. I just kind of yelled at my husband, who's behind me, thinking that it was his phone, but it might be somebody else's. So if we can be sure that if we've got noise going on, we're muted. So I want to say thank you so much for being here. I enjoy doing these, and I will keep doing them as long as I get information to share, and as long as you keep showing up. I'm happy to do these. I highly encourage questions. If I don't know the answer, then I don't know the answer. But very often, I am able to receive answers that are usually directly from your higher self. And so if you have a question that you would like answered, either on what we talked about in our last session, or what we're going to talk about today, or your life in general, or what this whole evolution and expansion means, please feel free to ask it, and I will do my very best to give you an answer that that really facilitates your growth and your expansion, because that's really what I am all about. That's what my purpose is to facilitate others' growth and expansion. Anyway, it was, I just noticed this image that I put out on the messages. It says, become the superhero you came here to be. And I thought, as I was just re-looking at that today, kind of regathering and preparing what wants to be shared, I would change the word hero, become the superhero you came here to be. Hero to me implies that we're here to save the world, save somebody else. And that's not what we're going to talk about today. I would change the word hero to power, becoming the superpower that you are here to be. And what that implies to me is that we all have a greater power within us that continues to awaken. I was going to say unravel, but continues to awaken, continues to expand. And right now, with these energies that are coming in, these high frequency energies that are coming in from the cosmos, they are actually pressing on these powers within us. So the veils are becoming thinner, and we are starting to realize that we have a greater clairvoyance, greater clairaudience, greater intuition than what we used to have. Maybe we didn't feel or sense that we had any at all, or maybe we felt or sensed that we had a little bit, but they are definitely awakening. And so we have powers within us that will continue to expand and awaken and grow over time. And not a long time, but very quickly you'll start to realize these. So not only would I spell the word super correctly, I noticed that I spelled super SUPWER or something like that. Yes, I do make my own graphics, so I apologize. So becoming the superpower that you came here to be. And that's really what I want to guide you through today, is a tool to be able to connect more deeply with yourself. Last time we met, we went through a guided visualization that actually took us up into our higher dimensions, until we got to the highest source and we got to feel and experience what that feels like. And hopefully you've been able to take that and practice with it, and get more attuned with each of the dimensions of frequency, each of the levels, and feel what the different levels of frequency feel like, and feel what it feels like to be there, and recognize that at what point you actually become the all that is, because that's where it's so powerful, not only because that's where our creative energy is, but also because it just feels good to lose yourself in that and to spend even 3, 5, 10 minutes just sitting in that. So hopefully you enjoyed that visualization and continue to practice that. Today, we're going to go the opposite way. We're actually going to bring those energies from up here, those higher frequency energies, and we're going to go inside so that you know yourself more. And there's nothing else to be said about that. I was going to say that's probably one of the most helpful things that we can do here on this planet, is to know ourselves more. As we know ourselves more, we become the superpower that we came here to be. Okay, does everybody see that eye? Okay,
Yes,
thank you. Thanks, Michelle. This is what we talked about last time briefly, is the personality self, also known as the ego self. This is our identity here on the planet. Everything within this I is information and memories. It's what makes up our life here. And we hear some people say, well, I've got to get rid of the ego, or and we don't want to get rid of the ego, because this is what it is. We love all these things. We love our family. We love our learnings and our religious or spiritual beliefs, our friends, everything that we've created in our life is this is our personality self, and we don't want to get rid of it. But what happened, what we saw last time is, let's see. Oh, okay. So if I do it this way, we saw last time that this is our authentic self, which was the soul that we were before we came into this personality self, or into this human body. So within this personality self, within your human body, exists this, which is your true personal power. It is, if I would replace this word authentic with soul, this soul self is pure potential. It contains the contribution that you came here to contribute to the planet. But because of free will, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to say, well, I've got to reach my divine mission. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Some people have a very strong drive to do that, like I did. And so I had a very strong drive to go out and uncover and find out what that was, and then start a business so that I could take it out and start to deliver it. And but this truly is the place where all of our strengths, our passions, our brilliance, our essence, just completely pure potential exists. So that is what we're going to actually talk about today. When we are giving more focus to, more attention to, more value to the personality self, it kind of puts and not taking into account our soul self, kind of equal balance, or ultimately what we want to do is to raise the soul self above the personality self. And then the personality self actually is in service to the soul self, because the personality is all of the information that we learned, all the friends that we have, all the support that we have here on the planet. It has our hands and our feet, so it can do things. But if once we allow the soul self to drive us, that's really being heart motivated, heart centered, some people call it. And the personality self is in service to the soul. That tips the balance, and we become what some people call light workers, way showers on the planet. But we become those who are really paving the way for where this evolution is headed. When we are solely or mostly focused on the personality self at the expense of the soul self, it's sort of like having a lid over our head. And we're not connecting to our higher self, which is the soul self. We're not connecting. We're not bringing that in to be who we are being. And so last time we talked, we did an exercise where we actually practiced expanding beyond that kind of ceiling or lid that we have up here and feeling what it felt like to be in each of those higher and higher dimensions. This one thing that I think is really important about this personality self, it's like a filing cabinet. Everything that we've learned, the information and the memories, our family, our school, religion, friends, environment, media, job, all of these things are things that we have learned or experienced. And all of that goes into a filing cabinet. So when we have an experience or we want to do something or create something, our old habit is to go to this filing cabinet and go to the file that is most applicable to help us achieve what we next want to achieve. Well, that's old news. And 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and beyond that, that was okay because things were moving much more slowly. So it was okay, go back to the filing cabinet, take what I knew and apply it to this, and it should work out. The way the energy and our environment, our planet literally is changing and expanding, that is no longer going to serve us. Going back to the old information, the old news, the old business is no longer going to be sufficient to help us create this new environment, this new world that we're going into. We need to be able to expand out of that filing cabinet and into what else is possible. And the way that we do that is through our imagination. Our imagination, when we were, I don't know about you, but I remember in school, and when we would sit and daydream, we would be told, stop daydreaming. We weren't allowed to be in our imagination. We had to come back and focus on what we were being taught. So in my mind, when I think of imagination, I think, oh no, that's goofing off. That's, that I can't do that. I'll get in trouble, or, that's not real. But the truth is that our imagination is the gateway to what else is possible for you. What I have learned over these last 20 years of working with people is that each of us has our own unique, let's say, bubble of imagination. The pictures that show up for us in our imagination are unique to us. So it isn't just goofing off. When we can imagine, there's a quote, I don't know, Zig Ziglar, Walt Disney, they both said it. I don't know who said it first, but if you can dream it, you can do it. And that's exactly what they meant. Your dreams are very specific and very unique to you, and they're there for a reason. They're there to tell you or give you clues to what else is possible for you. And that's what I want to do today, is to take you to a place where you can start to experience that for yourself. So that's what we're going to do in just a moment. Stop share. Okay, now I can see everybody at one time. Okay, good. So what do I want to pull this, make sure I cover everything. Okay, so the first thing I want to do before I start this visualization is I want you to imagine a movie theater. We have a few people here from the Downers Grove area here. We are very fortunate to have a movie theater that was actually, well, I read at one place that it was the first movie theater that had sound. Other movie theaters just used to have motion pictures. And our movie theater, it's called the Tivoli, was the first movie theater to have sound. Since I learned that, I also read that it was actually the second, so I'm not sure. So I don't want to lie. It was either the first or the second. If anybody knows. Fran, do you know, was it the first?
I don't know, but I sure am also grateful that we have it as part of our history here.
Isn't it the most beautiful part of history? It's just amazing. So we're really blessed. We have this place that we can imagine. It's truly a relic. It's an old movie theater. So if you can imagine an old movie theater and the seats, not these new fancy seats that they're all warmed and you can recline, but just the seats in these old movie theaters, and just make yourself comfortable in the seat that's just right and perfect for you. And the movie hasn't started yet. The screen is up ahead of you, but it's dark. You're in your perfect seat. And I want you to, now that you imagine your movie theater, start to close your eyes and start to just settle into the dark movie theater. There's just a little bit of light, just enough to see your way around. And in this theater, you're not the only one, but this theater is a little bit different. It's your own private movie theater. And in the other seats, you will notice that there's people that you know, people who are family, friends, people that you just know in your life. Aside from them, you're also noticing that some of the seats contain symbols or images or ideas of things that are on your to-do list. Oh, I've got to water the plants. Oh, I've got to make those flight plans for my vacation. Oh, I've got to return that person's call. Oh, I've got to clean out that closet. Each of the seats is full with someone who you know, who knows you, who has certain expectations of who you are, who you should be. Other seats are filled with certain expectations of what you still need to do or should do. Other seats are filled with perhaps things you wish you hadn't have done. And here you are in your seat, and feeling your energy and attention being pulled toward each of those seats, each of those things. And now I want you to find your personal power, all of who you really are. I am going to send you an activation, which really is only a suggestion, called a debris activator. And what that means is we are going to feel an energy coming in that deactivates self-doubt. It deactivates the illusion of self-imposed limitations and ceilings. Feel this energy of deactivating this debris winding through your body. Feel the densities of all of these other things pulling on you, drawing upon you, calling upon you. Feel the densities leaving as this higher frequency moves through you, snipping away anything that would represent self-doubt, limitations. Transforming these denser frequencies into higher frequencies that serve and support your authentic truth and expansion. And just recognize what that feels like and allow it to do its work. And now I'm going to send you another frequency activator called Lead with Your Heart. As you recognize this frequency coming in, you'll feel the difference from the deactivator. Lead with Your Heart feels very different. You feel your heart expanding. You feel your heart growing with compassion, self-acceptance, love, knowing that everything is just as it should be. You recognize here that your mind is in service to your heart, and they work beautifully together, leading with your heart. And now I'm going to send you an activation for your higher knowing. As you feel a frequency coming in that you recognize as unique to the other two, it's activating your third eye, your higher knowing. You feel your third eye, perhaps a frequency of vibration in your third eye as it intensifies and grows stronger. And allow the frequency of that third eye to expand down in and connect with your heart for true heart-led higher knowing. And take a nice deep breath to allow that to settle in. And now I'm going to send you the frequency to activate your cosmic doorway. You will now see doorways opening up to corridors where bigger ideas of you, your gifts, your passions, your higher mission and dreams exist. Open the door to see more of your true self beyond the personality self. Recognize that is you behind these doors. Parts of you that are just now being discovered, parts that are yet to be discovered, parts that have been silently tapping on you, letting you know, I'm here for you. Feel yourself falling in love with those parts of yourself. And finally, we're going to activate your cosmic human integration. We're going to pull those parts of yourself from your higher, that is actually your higher self, into this physical experience. So open yourself up, your crown chakra, your third eye, your throat chakra, your heart, your solar plexus, your creative center, your root chakra, and down below your feet is your star chakra. And just allow your higher self, these parts of yourself that are now ready to come in. Allow it into every cell, every part of your DNA, because it is you. It's just an integration of the higher frequencies of yourself. And allow yourself to become more of that one. Feel it, know it. Take a deep breath and allow it to transform you in exactly the right way that is right for you in this moment. And you begin to recognize that you are now too big for this theater seat. You have expanded beyond it. You've outgrown it energetically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. You are now ready to be the one on the screen. And you suddenly find yourself on the screen in your own movie. And in this movie, with these new skills, these new strengths, these new powers, you begin to imagine what else is possible for you. It unfolds before you just like you're watching yourself in a movie. And you recognize how good and how free it feels, how right it feels. Allow yourself to enjoy that. Take a moment to recognize what's there for you. Because what's there for you is your truth. And take a moment now to turn around on your screen and look back at the seats in the theater. And recognize that some of those things aren't as important from this perspective as we thought they were. Recognize that there are other things that are important and still need to be dealt with. Recognize that there's a different way to deal with them. A higher perspective of reacting or responding to our responsibilities. So this isn't about sticking our head in the sand, spiritual bypassing. We're still very much in our life, but we now know that we are bigger than we thought we were. And we now know that we've got tools to help us respond to things from a higher, freer, more expanded, higher consciousness perspective. Come back to yourself in the screen, on the big screen. Just take one more moment to appreciate who you are, to feel true love and gratitude for who you are and what else is possible. And when you're ready, come on back and open your eyes, refreshed and completely renewed. And how was that experience? Would anyone please like to share?
I want to go back to the screen.
You can now, anytime you want. Once you've been there, That's the thing. What we just did is we literally activated all of these things inside of us. We turned them on. We turned the switch on. It always was inside of you. I didn't give you anything you didn't have. I just reminded you of what you have inside of you. And we activated it. And now you've had the experience of being on that screen, being the one in that big, expansive, blank slate. And you can go back there anytime you want and create whatever you want from that place. Thank you, Kaya. Who else would like to share?
I'll share something quick, Lori.
Great, John. Thank you.
Just 2 words stuck out to me: freeing and transcendent. So, just being unbound by the limitations that you were speaking about before, and seeing them as almost like having all of those other things in your life shrink down to the scale where they're like little miniatures, or like a little tiny seashell that you'll find. And it's like, that is not, as big of a mountain as, the tiny little molehill that it really is in reality. So it's a great way to just step back to free yourself from those shackles mentally, emotionally, physically. So
Great. Absolutely. Isn't that fun to turn around and look at that and see how small some of those things actually are that take up so much of our mental and emotional and energetic and physical space? Thank you, John.
Can I ask a question?
Of course. Who is that? Jill?
Jill.
Yes, of course.
Okay, I'm going to be the one that asked this question. When you tell me that you're activating something and I feel it very physically, like, does everyone? And it sort of a little bit brings up a little fear. So I kept trying to just let it be.
Laura or Jill, I'll follow you and say I did as well, especially the third eye. Like, it was really, really strong. And I was feeling a little distracted in the moment that you said that. So it caught me off guard because I thought, if I'm distracted, I'm not going to get what's being sent to me. But it was like, bam, right there. And I was like, wow. It wasn't, I didn't have the fearful, reaction. I totally get, Jill, where that could come from. But for me, it was just like reaffirming of all of this, and that I'm here for a reason.
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of connections to spirit all the time, but I think some of my reactions are fearful. So I just was hoping you would speak to just feeling it so viscerally, and then my mind focusing on the physical, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yes. So to answer your first question, does everyone feel it? The answer is no, not everyone feels it. I believe that probably everyone on this call felt certain things to some extent. Some people are more sensitive than others, and some people are far more sensitive than others. And Jill, I, like you, feel everything very, very viscerally. So when I do things like this, yes, absolutely, I feel them. And so that's the first answer, and the recognition that you obviously are highly sensitive. And the second question, the fear. I was just getting an answer. I mean, I have a general answer, but I was just getting your answer. I mean, your higher self is just very blatant. It's just like, trust yourself. I mean, literally just like that. Trust yourself. I mean, it wasn't even like, oh, Jill, you should trust yourself. It was just trust yourself. So, so really specifically, Jill, for you, what I'm sensing is that it's almost like there's two parts of you. One part that knows deeply that you are this highly sensitive being. And literally, it's like this other completely separate part of you. They're not even like this, like, okay, we're the same. It's like they're very separate. This other part of you that has these beliefs, in our I, that I have to do certain things. I have to be certain ways. I have to hold up certain standards for myself that so that I can, and that might be, just survival or acceptance, but so that I can continue to exist as we exist here on this planet. And so when that part of yourself is so committed to those survival or acceptance mechanisms, and then when we come in with this other, activating this very strong part of you, the part of you that believes that you have to be or do a certain way or thing, gets afraid. No, you can't come in because things might change. Does that make sense?
Definitely makes sense. And I'm working towards integrating those parts.
Mhm.
But traumas and things that you happen to in your life create, and then that ego is trying to keep you alive, right? That's its job.
Mhm.
And so there's like that push pull. But yeah, I appreciate you explaining that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, if you are, when you are ready and willing, it would be important for you to work on those disintegrating those trauma, the frequency of those traumas, because all it is they're memories that we carry around with us, but also they are densities inside of our physical body and inside of our energy field. And it's just dense energy. And yes, our subconscious mind puts in place a mechanism that is there to keep us safe, so that doesn't happen to us again.
Yeah.
And those mechanisms usually are limitations on us. They're a ceiling. They won't let us go beyond. They won't let us experience the fullness of who we are or what we're here to experience, because rightfully so, they're trying to keep us safe.
Yeah.
And so there are processes to be able to lovingly and gently take those dense energies and transmute them literally into an energy or a frequency that is more serving of who you really are and supporting you to become more of who you really are without the need for the fear. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then once those densities are dissolved or transformed into a higher frequency, then it becomes much easier for you to go ahead and integrate and become whole yourself.
Okay.
Is that
Thank
helpful?
you. Yeah. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Thank you for the question. Does anyone else have any questions,
I have a
comments?
couple comments. This is
Carol,
Kara.
I didn't see you. Hello.
I know I had to come in
Help
a
you
little bit late, but
today.
I'm so glad I got in here for the activation. So okay, for the last few nights, I've been dreaming this dream of this brand new orange steel beam with a brand new price tag and label on it. And I've been able to bend it partway in the dream. And I couldn't figure out what that was. And when you did this activation, and I found myself on that big screen, it was intimidating. And when you said to turn around and look back, it was like looking at the kindergartner size or preschool chairs. And it was a little scary, to be honest with you. And I'm like, oh, I could just break that steel beam. It wasn't that big anymore. It was like a Tinker Toy size. I'm like, oh, anyways, the other thing I had experienced was I'm on the big screen and it's a big slate. It's just a blank slate, just open to all possibilities and opportunities. And then, you mean I have to figure this piece out too? Anyways,
Well, here,
I-
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is important
Yes.
for everybody to hear. Is what I now know is that when we're in the theater seats with all of these things, we have to figure things out. We have to figure out how to be that person for those people. We have to figure out how to do that for that. We have to figure out how to fix that, how to accomplish this. We have to figure it out. When you are freed from that and you are in your most expansive space, you just get to move through life and things start to unfold before you. You don't have to figure anything out from that place. And what is exactly right for you will then show up on the screen over here, and something exciting will show up for there. And the only thing you have to do is say, what feels best and right at this time? And you move into it. And because it's exactly right for you, it is your dream. You already know you have all of the tools, all that you need to be able to move through that experience. You don't have to figure it out. So no, you don't have to figure anything out from there.
I'm
You just
so grateful.
play.
I am so grateful because when I was thinking about, we're all in the sandbox together. You know, it's like the group of us who are here and those we are about to meet, you know, we're all these little souls in the sandbox. And that creative space that we used to just intuitively just step into it is very freeing. And I'm so glad I showed up.
Well, so are we.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Who else has a question or a comment?
Oh, I did.
Well, hello from Australia. Hi, Marilyn. Good morning
Yeah.
to you.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, we just switched back our clocks for daylight savings, and I forgot to switch back this time,
Oh,
you know? So that's why I was late. And then the penny dropped and went, oh my God, I have to get on an hour earlier. But I was here for the meditation, for the full meditation, yeah.
good.
Yeah.
How can I help you today?
Well, I don't know whether or not you would give me the depth of this now or maybe later. So the corridors, so I had a few different coloured doors, and had a little peek and came out, and and then there was this red door, and my presence actually went in, and as I went in, it was very cosmic, and I didn't get to finish it because I'm listening to you. And it was just taking me further and further into some other realm past the earthly plane. And I know that there's something that I have to access there and use somehow. So I might just leave that there because it's your meditation technique. I will have to sit with it and find out myself. But if you get something, I'm going to ask you to maybe message that outer cosmic place where I was going. There was no fear there for me, even though it was once inside, it was all very red, but it was just like pulling me along, and then I had to come out. Yeah. So I'll just leave it at that.
Great. Well, thank you, Marilyn. Yes, what I would say is because you have the ability to expand so greatly into other dimensions, is just be sure that you call upon your guides, the highest of the high only, to be with you, and then go back and listen to this meditation, the recording, and go through it again, or let's see, because I'll pull you out of it again in the recording, or just if you can remember, kind of walk yourself through what we did and get to the place where we're opening doors to the corridors, and just see what happens for you, where you go. See if you can find that same red door or another one. I'm kind of getting the idea that there might be another one too, but what I would say most important is just ask your guides, your highest of the high, to be with you. Go in only when it feels inviting and good, right? And when it does, they're corridors to parts of ourself, places that, we haven't been in this lifetime. And so what is up ahead? We don't know. And it could be a little scary. So just, allow yourself, as it feels good and as it feels comfortable, to explore and wander. Maybe take one of your guides with you, walk down the corridor with one of your guides, hand in hand, and see what's there for you. I would my highest what's it called? Recommendation? My highest, yeah. Sorry, I'm losing words because
Or
I'm
suggestion.
reading your energy. My highest recommendation, I guess is the word I'll use, would be, yes, just do what feels good. And as long as it feels good, allow yourself, and the big word is explore. Allow yourself to explore. Don't force yourself to look. Don't force yourself I got to go looking for something, but with curiosity and love and joy. If it feels like joy, trust yourself. Trust yourself in every moment. Yourself, and especially when you're in these higher frequencies, yourself knows. There's no doubt. That you know. So that's what I would say. Is that helpful?
Yeah, no, thank you. And the timing is always perfect, because this morning it was given to me that I needed to go into deeper worlds further. So that's really perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you, Laurie.
You're so welcome, Marilyn.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And who else has a question or want to share anything? Nadan, hello. I see you here. Where are you? I see your name. There you are. What do you have to say for yourself? I can't hear you. Can you take yourself off mute, Nadan?
Hi.
Oh,
Talking
there's
to me.
Jan. Hi, Jan.
Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I love the meditation part. That was pretty cool. That's very relatable. Could see those corridors, couldn't see what was in them, but yeah.
Excellent. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for sharing. Yeah, so you can absolutely just listen to the recordings and, use it over and over as much as you want to go back to those places. And the more that you do it, the easier it'll become, the more expansive it'll become, and the more you'll find. And then you'll be able to do it just on your own without the recordings. And then it gets really powerful and fun, because you could be standing in line at the grocery store and off on your movie screen somewhere creating things. So thank you, Jan. All right, well, we actually have a couple of minutes, and I am willing to stay if anyone has any questions. Nadan, are you?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've seen you. I miss you so much.
So, yeah, it was very interesting. I quite enjoyed it. I will definitely listen to it again. So, yeah.
What would you say was most helpful or that you would be taking away with you?
Uh, Probably the sort of moving to the larger screen. Sort of the sort of day-to-day stuff, making it sort of smaller. So I've found the energies. I've actually been, you know, in need of some expansion. So I think that is why I decided to come on the call tonight. I think that's why I was drawn to it.
Perfect. Very good. Well, we're glad that you're here. Thank you so much. And I hope that you have an opportunity to listen to the recording and continue your expansion, because I know that you have big things to do. I know you do, and I know you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Nadan.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I have a comment. This is Eva.
Eva.
Hi.
Hi.
When you were talking with Carol, it really opened up for me, because what I got out of the visualization was more freeing, and the way you answered Carol was just to let things happen, see what comes. Really resonated with me, because I have some roadblocks in the way right now, and I think that just seeing that things will open up for me, so that I can work more with the frequencies and with what I'm really here to do. So I don't know if you saw anything else.
If I saw anything else, what does that mean? Did you?
Based on what I just said, and you, I know how you tune into the energies.
Well, if you have a question, I will be able to.
Okay. What? I think my thing is that I always try to figure things out, and what do I need to do instead of trying to move in that direction. Even my dreams are always working. I'm always doing tasks and things. And what do you see as far as what I need to do to free up the energies, I guess, is my question.
Well, I think this exercise was really good. I need to shut off the chat. I just got distracted by the chat. Sorry. This was a really great exercise for you to be able to get out of the, remember I said, old habit of going back to the filing cabinet. Remember, all of that is past. That's everything that you've ever learned, heard, experienced. Everything that we've ever learned, heard, experienced, in any way goes into that filing cabinet, and it's there and it's nice and safe. And so the old habit is to go back to the filing cabinet of what happened in the past and apply it to this situation so that I can solve this problem or fix this thing or get over this block. But like I said, that's no longer going to serve us. And it really didn't serve us, but because time was so slow and energy was so much slower in the recent past, we thought we were doing something and, we'll figure it out. No, let me try this. And well, this worked last time. And oh, so-and-so told me they did this. So I'll pull this file and maybe this will work.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah. And so remember now that frequency is raising and time is the span of time is faster, shorter. We don't have the luxury of, oh, let me look in this file, let me look at this file and see if this applies and wait for a good idea to come. So practice going to the place of imagination. If I could imagine that there was a solution out there to this problem, what would it be?
Yeah.
And see what comes. Allow yourself to sit for 5 or 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and imagine yourself in this movie theater in your seat with this problem in the next seat. And then go through the exercise of expanding yourself and seeing yourself on your movie screen and feeling yourself in the expansiveness of that and knowing that you have at your disposal all of the creative energies and forces outside of you and inside of you. And then turn around and look at that problem or that, did you call roadblocks? And if I knew exactly what to do, what would it be?
Yeah,
How does that feel?
I think that's what I need to do more of. You're right. And that was shown to me in the visualization too. I could see that when you were talking.
What was shown to you, and specifically exactly what?
That I need to stop going into the filing cabinet.
Okay.
I could
Well,
really
what are you
resonate
asking me
with that.
for? You already knew that answer.
I just thought you'd have,
You thought I'd
but
have
you
something
helped
more
me see
profound.
more. You'd help me see more.
Yeah, I mean that's really the answer. It's it. For where we are now. I mean, we are moving from a third density frequency, going through the chaos of the fourth density frequency, and then up into this fifth density expansive frequency. We are all going in and out of it, or most of us. Everybody here on this call, I would say, is we're going in and out of it all the time.
Yeah.
And what we're doing now is becoming more aware that is where we're headed, and that's where we want to be the majority of our time. So it's just employing new habits. And that's what I'm helping us to do here, is to get some tools and some experiences to employ new habits. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Yeah. So what I want you to do is recognize that in the 5 fifth dimension frequencies is where growth and expansion happens. In the old third dimension frequencies is where we stay stuck in old patterns, old programs. We keep going back to that filing cabinet. Well, the more we keep going back to that filing cabinet, we're just spinning circles. We're stuck. We're still doing the same things over and over and over and over and over again. So we want to learn to expand beyond that, transcend. Thank you for that word, John. It's beautiful. I wish that I had said that. But it's absolutely perfect for what we're talking about, is transcend into this higher frequency, where we are more creative. We have more access to our own superpowers. So the homework then is to practice being in these higher frequencies. I would suggest listening to the recording again, the visualization. My husband Slav will pull that visualization out of this whole thing. So if you just want to listen to that over and over, but that'll help open up those circuitries for you. The more we do it, the more those circuitries will open up. And drawing yourself out of the third dimension circuitry into the fifth dimension, and recognizing what it feels like to be there, and then practice being there more and more. Notice, homework is to notice what is pulling you back into these lower densities. What's causing you to, contract? What's causing you to go to that filing cabinet, looking for the answer, looking for the solution? And go up to the higher dimensions and find a different way to respond to it. Because when we do that, these things that once seemed so important and calling on us now begin to actually dissolve. Much of it dissolves. Much of it in the lower densities dissolves. It's no longer as important to us, and we're not holding on to it anymore. And we're allowing what else is possible to become more of who we are. So we are now past time. So thank you, everyone, for coming. I will stay on if anyone has any questions that you would like answered, but I recognize that you've all spent over an hour with me, and I truly appreciate it. I hope that you will come back. The energy that we create together is amazing, and know that as we create this energy together, we are literally creating a vacuum together, like going into a helium balloon. All of our higher frequency energies are going into like a helium balloon, that as we raise up, we are also raising others up with us. And that is so, so important at this time. So I really appreciate everyone coming to play in this game with me today. So you are welcome, Fran. I'm glad you'll be back. Thank you, Marilyn. Anyone have any questions that I can try to help answer? Kaya?
Yeah, I hope this is quick. Where I get really stuck sometimes within that lower dimension is money, and figuring out how I survive, how I bring in income, because I have to, right? That's sort of part of the rules of being currently, in the society I live. But also trying to be in that fifth dimension at the same time, right? Like, so how do you have a hand in both worlds and not get stuck always going back to that like survival mode in the
Yeah,
third dimension?
that's a really good question. It's one that I had for a really long time. It's like, well, Abraham Hicks, that all sounds good with the law of attraction, but you're not me. You don't have to pay your bills because you're rich. So I know that very well. But the more I learned and understood what energy is and how it works, and the more I believed the adage, everything is energy, I had to know that if everything is energy, then that means money is energy. And that I had to understand how energy works, and therefore I would understand how money works. There's a piece specifically for you, Kaya, that that this would apply to everyone, but this is coming in specifically for you, but it does apply to everyone. So that's why I'm kind of having a brain split here. It's about doing what you need to do. So you will still do your job, because the energy that we put out is met in equal measure to the energy that we will draw in. And so when I go to work, and if I put in high frequency, creative, loving, expansive energy into my work, then I will get a return of high frequency, expansive energy back to support me. If I put in low frequency energy to go to work, oh, I have to go to work today and I hate this job, and I go into it like this and I'm contracted, then that is the energy that I'm going to bring back to me. I'm probably going to get a dent in my car, and then I've got that bill to pay and I can't seem to get ahead. So we still have to work. Yes, we still live on a planet that uses money for survival, but it's the way in which we do it, the energy that we do it with. Are we doing it from this limited, I hate my job, I hate my life, everything, nothing ever works out for me? Or are we doing it with, I get to do this today, and who can I serve today, and what of me do I want to share and contribute to what I'm doing today? Because as I share and contribute my life force energy, then that will be met with an equal life force energy that will then support me. Does that make sense?
Yes, it absolutely does. Thank you.
Is that helpful? Does it answer?
Yeah. Yeah. It does.
And so let's say that we're currently in a job that we don't like. So how, what do we do? Well, we go to our big screen and we start to create what else is next for me. What else is out there? What's next for me? What wants to show up for me? While we're doing this job that doesn't necessarily serve us or suit us anymore. But rather than being angry that you have to be there, transform the energy into one of gratitude. This is paying my bills while I'm out, creating other things. I get to do this. I get to be of service in this way until I find or create what is my next right place. So it's always the energy, I could be digging ditches for a living. It's the energy with which I do it that matters. Does that make sense?
Yes, you read me like a book. Thank you.
Are you digging ditches?
No, it was before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're
thank
so
you.
welcome. All right. Is there anyone else that has any questions, comments, or just wants to share what you're taking away with you today? That would be helpful.
Hey, Lori, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. Good to hear your voice.
Let's see. You know what happened? It's really weird. So I never look in the mirror. I look at my hair, I look at my pimple, but I don't look at myself. But when you sent us in the theater and we had to look at ourselves, it was like, oh boy, it was a totally different experience. I actually liked looking at myself.
Mhm. I love that. So do you want to know why?
Yeah, of course.
or is there a question in there? I mean, I
I'll
have
let
an
you
answer, but I don't know if it's the answer to your question. What's your question?
That's not my question. That wasn't a question. It was
Yeah.
look, this happened. And I suppose the question is, what do you believe happened? And I'll see if it mirrors what I think happened.
Okay. Yes. So when you are in your theater seat and there's all of these other people and to-dos and regrets and things, they are expectations. And in your theater seat, you have to be the one who meets those expectations. And you know that you have to be this to fix that. You have to be this to figure that out. You have to be this to help that person. You have to be this because that's what this person expects of you. So you are actually being someone that you're not. And that is not your highest beingness. And so when you look in the mirror, you know that's not really you. And it's like, okay, so I'll just fix my hair so that it, I look good, and do I got my lipstick on? Yes, I do. But you don't even really care to look at this person that has become so contorted and distorted to meet the expectations of your outside reality.
Yep.
But when you left that behind and you got on the screen and you were all of you, and you're like, man, I'm pretty awesome. Can't wait to spend time with me.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, because every time Gail, Steve is laughing at you. Every time someone says something about this role that I'm in, and I won't bore everybody with my role, I just get like this, and now I feel like, oh, I am doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And I know that everything that I gathered along the way brought me to where I am, so I could do this and do it well. And I think that's the one reason I've never gone, why did this happen to me? Why? Never done that. It was like, oh, okay, I'm here.
Mhm.
So I guess now I can, look in the mirror and go, oh, you're pretty damn awesome.
Yes. And you are. And
Well,
I'm honestly, I often don't remember what people look like, because when I meet somebody or see somebody or even know somebody, I don't see that their physical appearance. I see their higher self. I know who you are behind this meat suit. So I can meet you again and not remember who you are, because I don't remember what you look like until I start to feel your energy, or you say something that reminds me, oh, that's right, we met last week. But that's what I want everybody to be able to experience, is to see that part of themselves that they really are, because it is so magnificent. It's so beautiful. It's so expansive. And I just imagine a world where everyone knows themselves as that. And then they look around, they look back at the seats and see all of those things in there that much of it didn't matter.
That's very true. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you so much. All right, anyone else, or shall we call it a day? Gail, how is house hunting going? Home hunting.
It's getting very close to the decision, or yeah. So yeah, it's a good thing. I need that, definitely. But I'm so grateful for this call. The money thing, I felt like you were talking to me, like still, like, because that was like so true for me. Um, the when you were talking about, and I don't know if this is a question or not, but when you were talking about when we are here in the 3D and then we transcend up into the 5D and then we come back down, like, and what is it that draws us back? I think I kind of know what that is. But when I think when I'm up in the 5D, I feel so ungrounded. Like I feel that brings fear to me. Like it's like I feel like I don't know where I'm supposed to be. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that.
Okay. So hopefully this might help others, but this answer is specifically for you. Gail, is so I would, for everybody, suggest working on your chakra system, getting your all of your chakras in order. So if you have easy access to going up into these higher frequencies, that means that you have, well-developed higher chakras, your heart, your throat, your third eye, your crown chakra, and all of the rest of them that are above is, you can easily go there. What could be scary and feel like you're untethered or float off is if your lower chakras aren't, in balance and healthy. And so, and here's the thing, we can go off into these higher dimensions, but unless our lower chakras are healthy and balanced, we have a much harder time or cannot manifest what we see and want here on the planet, because it's our lower chakras that actually do the doingness. They make it physical, right? Our higher chakras allow us to see what else is possible, but our lower chakras make it physical. So for you, Gail, I would say you're especially your what do you call that? The root chakra. Just make sure that work on your lower chakras. Line everybody up, feed them. I think maybe in the first, I often don't remember what we talked about in these calls. I think maybe in the first call we did talk about chakras, but maybe not. But anyway, get yourself a book. There's, go on the YouTube. There's a million chakra exercises. And just they will help you get your chakras healthy, spinning, aligned, vibrant. And then when you go off up here, you will know that you're grounded and tethered and solid down here. Is that helpful?
Yeah, very much. Thank you. That makes sense.
Yeah. I know a lot of us have been on a spiritual path. We've felt a spiritual calling. And so we've spent a lot of time really trying to develop our higher chakras so that we could have these, this higher access. But it's so important that all of our chakras are healthy and in line. It's so important. Thank you for the question. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Isn't that like your sense of safety and your, like, if your root chakra, I feel like that's what I bump against is like you, Gail, is like that. It's that sense of safety and security or rootedness. Cause I get just like you, I feel like I'm woo and like, I'm like, and I feel like the ego tries to ground me, but back into shit. So
that's okay.
It does. Mine too.
Yeah. Well, so one of the things that could cause us to kind of, let's say, not saying that you're doing this, but the idea of kind of want to run away from those lower chakras, because actually there's a lot of people who do that. And that's part of, what spiritual bypassing is, let's just play up here. It feels good. Here's the thing. I remember the first time I felt my legs. I remember clearly. I was with a friend. We went to this little expo thing and she took me over to this lady and she said, "Oh, here's my friend so-and-so. She does energy work." And I had no idea what she was talking about. And this lady came over to me and she put one hand on my chest and one hand on my back. And it was like, whoosh, I came into my body.
get out.
And
That's interesting.
I literally felt like I weighed 300 pounds. I was heavy. And I went down and I tapped my legs. I'm like, I have legs. I feel my legs. And for almost a week, I was like heavy. But she brought me into my body because we all have things, past traumas and things, that don't feel good. And so it feels so much better to be up here. But it's imperative to any evolution or to being able to be the expression of all that we're here to be. It's imperative that we deal with those traumas, or face those, recognize first, what is it that I don't want to see, feel, experience. And those emotions or negative feelings are simply a messenger. And while they don't feel good, they are a messenger to be grateful for. And once we can look at that messenger and be grateful for it, because all it's trying to do is to keep us safe from those things happening again, then more than likely, without going through a process, which literally takes 45 minutes to an hour to go through a process, working with the subconscious mind in its language and getting it to transform those denser frequencies of fear or trauma into higher frequencies that will serve you for who you really are. But if you just do it on your own, and if you have the courage, if you can look at the fear and have a conversation with it, and you'll discover that it's simply there to keep you from getting hurt again. And unless you are living in a, let's say, traumatic relationship now, recognize that what happened to us in the past is in the past, and it's in that filing cabinet. And the only thing that keeps you tethered to that file, keep pulling it out and looking at it, I don't want that to happen again, or I'm still angry at that person, is our own mind bringing it back to the present.
I use the technique that I say, thank you, mind. I don't need you right now. I'm safe. And I just try to ground in. But yeah, thank you for that.
Yes, you are welcome. Very welcome, Jill. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I hope that there was one thing that you will take away that will help you move forward in your expansion and your evolution at this very wonderful time in our lives. And I do hope that you'll come back. I don't have a date, but you will see it all over the Facebook. There is a page, it's called Laws of Living an Inspired Life. Become a member of that group. I guess I'm still trying to figure out this Facebook, how to work all these groups and things, but become a member, and then you'll be sure to be notified of the next event. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.